Hello, welcome back to Steak and Sanity. My name is David, and this channel is about my carnivore journey. In today's episode, we're going to talk about month 1 on the lion diet. So what were my results? What were my thoughts about the month? What's coming up for next month? So first of all, let's just get into it. We're going to do the stats for nerds very quickly. I'm just going to do a recap of the whole thing. I'm not going to get into all the details, so 1 second. So at the beginning of the month, I started off at 102 kilos, which is 225 pounds, basically. And my weigh-in this morning was 97 kilos. And so that's 213, 214. So basically that's 11 and a half pounds I lost in the month. There was a maximum point, I think, where I'd lost about 13. And then I've taken a little bit of a slide backwards over the past few weeks, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But at the end, ended up with 11 pounds. So, or 11 and a half pounds. I think that's pretty good, considering that I started at 225. I wasn't hugely obese, so I didn't have tons and tons and tons of weight to lose anyway. And so I wasn't going to see, massive 30-pound weight loss, 20-pound weight loss, that kind of thing anyway, just because I had a lot less fat to lose. So I'm not upset with that. In fact, if you'd told me when I started off that I was going to lose 11 pounds in the month, I would have thought that's amazing. It will continue to slow down. I know this from last time. The less fat you have, the more efficient your body becomes, the harder it becomes for your body to lose the fat. So it's now a long-term process. I don't expect to see 11 pounds again. And in fact, hopefully I'll see 0 or maybe a little bit of a gain, but what I will see is a change in body composition. So that's sort of what I expect to see coming. And we're going to talk about that in a minute as well. So I'm not going to do any more stats. That's basically it. I do have some averages for you if you want actually to talk about those. I keep looking away because I'm looking at my spreadsheet. So my average steps every day during that period were 5,400 steps. My average calories were 1472, which we'll get onto in a minute. My average carbs were 24 per day. My average fat was 96 grams and my average protein was 123 grams. So that's not enough protein for where I want to be. I should be around 180, 190, because that's kind of where I'd like my weight to settle eventually. So I need to up the protein, I get that, and I need to up the fat. Basically all the other stats, my things like my body fat percentage, my water percentage, all that sort of stuff, essentially they're moving like maybe 1%. So there's not too much movement in there. I did manage to get to the gym 1, 2, 3, 7, 10, about 12 times during the month. So nearly every other day, nearly. So that's not bad. I do want to up that, and I'm hoping I'm going to up that in February, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well. But, okay, no more stats. So what are my main observations? I think the biggest one is that, so if you remember, for maybe those who are seeing this for the first time, what I wanted to do, I did Carnivore Diet last January, stayed on it for about 5 months, then fell off the wagon, decided I would start again this year, but I would do Lion Diet in January just as a test because I wanted to try it out and see what it's like. So this is mainly talking about Lion Diet, which is ruminant, basically beef, venison, some other stuff that I can't really get. So beef and venison mainly. I found it really difficult personally, and mainly because I'm not the most organized person in the world, and I have talked about this, and I found it really difficult to do meal prep. The place that I work doesn't have even like a microwave to warm anything up. I certainly don't have anywhere I could cook anything. I could do anything like that. So I thought initially that it might save some money. And I did talk about budgeting in one of my earlier videos. But what I actually found in practice is that I ended up spending a lot more on my lunches because I had to go somewhere like a Five Guys, or I had to go somewhere that had steak that I could buy or something like that. And it's very, very expensive, particularly in the UK. It's a lot more expensive than I think you'd find in America or in some other places. And so that was quite frustrating. And when I'm at home, I could do it. Um, but even then, I did find it a struggle. And that gets into point number two, which is it's boring. And just personally, I know loads of people out there, and people who have serious health issues and do the diet because of their health issues. I totally, totally get that this would probably be an amazing diet. And if you don't have any choice, then you just kind of have to do it. I did it sort of for fun because I wanted to kickstart my weight loss, see if I could lose a little bit of weight and kind of see and to see what it was like. And if it turned out that it was easy for me, then I would probably prefer to do that. But I just found it so tedious and so boring that I would come home at night and I just couldn't face another meal of beef again. Um, I don't really like lamb. I have had some friends. Shout out to Lena who sent me who's from New Zealand, and they have some of the best lamb in the world comes from New Zealand, and she's got some amazing recipes um, that I will try. And but I just don't. Yeah. Anyway, I just ended up eating beef all the time. I ate a lot of like ground beef or mince, and steaks or whatever in the morning. And in the beginning, I was really disciplined, and I could get up in the morning and maybe make a steak, and then before I came in, and then I wasn't hungry most of the day, and then I'd eat something in the evening. But it's just trying to do all the stuff that I'm doing, and I get up and I take my son to school every day. So I had to get up, I had to do the school run. I didn't have, many happy hours that I could sit around and cook. And then, I had to get to work, and then I'm working and just trying to get all the stuff done. Personally, I found it a challenge, a real, real challenge. I only really, if I'm honest, I only made it about 2.5, 3 weeks on doing strict lion diet. And then I just started going back to carnivore because I couldn't face beef again. Um, so I ended up eating a lot of chicken. So I started having chicken for lunch, um, chicken thighs, which are fatty anyway, and that kind of thing. So I tried to get the best, cuts that I could. I did some eggs. So bacon and eggs was a big thing. So I could get inexpensive. I could get like a 3 egg omelet and 4 or 5 pieces of bacon to go along with it. Again, for people in the US, when I say bacon over here, I mean back bacon, not the strips of the streaky bacon. So um, anyway, I ended up doing a little bit more of that at the end. I also ended up in the past, I don't know, week or so, I intentionally took a proper cheat day. I had rice. I had I had some a Twix bar, just one thing of Twix. Like I just, yeah, I slipped a little bit, which is what set me back. That's been along with going to the gym and some other stuff. So I just found that it was a real struggle for me. Um, I totally miss eggs. I miss dairy a lot. Um, but I miss eggs in particular because I find that it's really good to mix in because I can get up and I do have time to get up and scramble a few eggs in the morning and do something really quick like that. And I find it easier to do that. And I find that's a good source of protein and also of fat. So I'll be really, really happy to get back to not feeling like I'm cheating when I'm having eggs. Um, Dairy's bad for me. I love milk. I still love milk. I love cheese. I still love cheese. I love to eat it. But I did find that when I had more milk or I had any cheese, that it really set me back and it would stop and stall my weight loss, seemingly. I don't know if that's just because of the calories or if there's something in the milk, but I did find that it seemed whenever I started having milk again, even if it was just tiny amounts and a little bit of decaf coffee or something, um, it seemed to stop the weight loss. So I am cutting back on the milk and the cheese. I do now 90% of the time, I don't have milk. At the minute, I have a drink here. You can't see it. Well, maybe you can. It's water, literally hot water. And I've really become a fan of hot water. So during the day, I, what I've decided, I think, is that I really like to have a warm drink. It doesn't need to be tea. It doesn't need to be coffee. It can actually just be hot water. So you can see I have a kettle over there, and I just keep we have a filtered water in the office. So I just go and fill that up every day, sometimes twice a day. And I'm drinking, that's 1.5 liters. And so I'm just making hot water all day and I just drink that. A, it's better for me. And B, the warmth of the drink, I think, is really what I want. So sometimes I do get up in the morning and I want to have a cup of coffee, even though it's decaf, it's the mental bit. So I have a decaf coffee in the morning with a little bit of full fat milk. And then I might have one in the evening, but I'm stopping that now. And I actually mainly just have hot water, like I said. So I've really got into drinking hot water. I don't even put a lemon or anything. It's literally just hot water. But I quite enjoy it. And the bonus is if I go to coffee shops or whatever, if I want hot water, they never charge me anything for it. So I can go and sit in a coffee shop. Like instead of having a coffee, I just have a mug of hot water. So I can have the ambiance of the coffee shop. I can go and meet friends. I can go and, meet people for meetings and whatever. And I still just have hot water. So that's been really good. The cheese is particularly difficult, I think, for me because my son loves cheese. So we always have cheese in the house and it's just always staring at me. I think if I were in a place, if I lived on my own and I were trying to do the diet on my own, or the whole family just went, we can't eat cheese, it would be a lot easier, I think, if it just wasn't in the house, but it is. So anyway, that's been a particular struggle as well. The other thing, just the last thing. So I know that's a load of stuff about the diet, but I was able to get back into the gym, like I said, almost averaged, half the month, which sort of averages out to basically every other day, which doing the cardio and all of that and the problems that I had with my knee in the past, I'm actually really happy that I was able to get back into the gym, to start running again, to start doing cardio again. I've managed to get back up to the point where I can run 5K, even though I'm not running 5K most of the time. I'm just running half an hour. What I'm going to do over the next month, and we're going to get into that of what's going to change in February. But I'm going to work on my speed now. I don't want to run and do more than a half an hour of cardio anymore. I used to do hours at a time. I used to do a 5K run and then another half an hour of cardio on another machine. And I think that's excessive. I don't need to do all that. Plus, it's not kind of what I want to do. I just need to do enough to keep my heart healthy. So I'm going to start just cranking up the speed and keeping it a half an hour. So my goal is in a few months' time to be able to run the 5K in a half an hour and then to maybe be able to do that in sub 5. And if I can do it in sub 30 minutes. So if I can do the 5K in 28 minutes, then I'll just stop at 28 minutes. So that's kind of my goal going out. So that's a good few months. I've got 3 or 4 months, I think, to work on that. I have a plan on how I want to do it. I want to do it slowly and I want to do it carefully. And I just want to keep going and make sure that my knee doesn't start to hurt again because the diet was effective at helping heal that. So that's a lot of chat. We're 15 minutes in already. So what's coming in February? So 3 things basically. Number 1, I'm going back to proper carnivore diet. So I'm going to do a slightly modified carnivore, which is I am going to try and be very, very strictly. I'm going to eat as much meat and red meat as I can, but I am also definitely going to mix in things like bacon, pork, duck, all the other meats that I haven't basically been able to eat. Chicken for sure, because chicken's very easy also at home for people as well, because we eat a lot of chicken in the house. So that's going to be nice. And I will probably try and maybe try a little bit of yogurt and see how that goes, but I'm not sure. Just again for something a little bit different, but I want to keep the milk and the cheese down. So carnivore, just adding basically eggs and the rest of the meats back in, also some fish. I had some salmon a couple of times over the last week, and that was really, really nice. Also, we can get some wild caught, line caught salmon here, which is really nice. So it's not the factory farmed crap. Um, so yeah, so that's going to be really good, and I think that's going to help. It's going to help. The other thing as well to go along with that is, and some of you may have seen my video on perimenopause, but I think I've convinced my wife to try the carnivore diet with me. There's no way she would do the lion diet. That was way too restrictive. But I think she's going to try carnivore diet and she's going to see how she feels. So I've convinced her, I think, to try it for a month. And February is like the shortest month. So that's about the best I could do to say, hey, look, just try it with me. See if you feel better. She has some particular symptoms that I will ask her if she's okay if I share those. If she is, then I'll talk about them in more detail. If not, then I'll just give you a general update on how the diet maybe is affecting her and whether she likes it or not. But anyway, we will see. If she's doing the diet, that will make it a lot easier for me, I think, as well, because then at night, when I go home, we're not cooking mountains of rice and all sorts of vegetables and all sorts of other stuff that I, come in and it smells amazing and it makes me want to eat some of that. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know, but we'll see. And the last thing I want to talk about quickly is the gym. So as I just mentioned a minute ago, I'm going to stick to doing the cardio 30 minutes, work on the speed aspect for that to try and building up my cardio, the strength of my heart and that kind of thing. But now I'm going to start working weights back in. So I really wanted to do some weights during January, but I just thought, no, I'm going to just keep it strictly to cardio. I want to get some basic sort of fitness back. And then I'm going to start. So I want to get back. So I'm going to start lifting weights again today. I don't know what kind of split I'm going to do. I don't like the bro split. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to break it up, but I think I want to do about 3 days a week on weights, and then I'm going to do a couple of days of cardio as well. So I'll mix a day of cardio in there somewhere, probably once my legs aren't sore from doing leg day. So anyway, I haven't figured out the split yet. I'll talk about that in another video, but I am quite excited to get the weights back in. Now, with that, I think that's totally going to mess with my numbers as well. So for the long-term weight loss, I think I definitely need to start lifting again, start building a little bit of muscle again. I know I'm going to have more calories than I'm eating at the minute, but that's okay. And I'll probably be more hungry if I'm lifting because I'm going to need the calories to repair the soreness and the muscles and things like that. So I'm hoping that'll take care of itself a little bit. But what was I going to say? Yeah. Anyway. Oh, yeah. So I suspect that my weight will probably go up because once you start lifting, or at least in my experience, when I start lifting, what I get is my muscles retain water while they're trying to repair. It's not, I think we've talked about this a couple of times. It's not retaining water like bloating. It's the muscles actually being pumped and full of water so that they can heal and that they're working right. That's going to add some weight back. So I do expect over the next, few days and weeks for maybe my weight to seemingly go backwards. But what should happen is that my body should then start reconfiguring again. I'll be losing fat, but I'll be hopefully putting on a little bit of muscle. I'm in my 50s. I'm in my mid 50s. So it's not like I'm 20 years old and I can just go in the gym and I can work out a few times and, do low rep, super heavy weights and stuff like that. And then just, put on loads of bulk. That's not going to happen. It's going to be nearly impossible for me to bulk up. at this age, but it is going to help and it will put a little bit of muscle back on. And I am going to work on strength. I'll probably do high reps in the beginning, again, just for the month of February. I'm not going to go super heavy straight away. It's been 9 months since I've lifted probably at all. So I'm going to have to go in and figure out where the hell I am, how bad how bad is the situation at the minute. And then I'm going to have to make a plan on how to attack that. So I think I'll probably start off doing sort of high reps. We're talking 12 to 15 reps for maybe 3 sets. I do want to work to failure on the 3rd set, but I want to just work on form again. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything the right way just to get my head in the right space. And then I'll start to increase the weight as we go on. So I expect that the weight numbers in particular are going to maybe look a little funny for a while, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what impact that has. I'm still taking the vitamins and everything that I talked about. So I take L-lysine every day. I take some aspirin every day. I take vitamin D every day. And I take a multivitamin every day. I'm probably going to start creatine as well. And those creatine that have the electrolytes built in, I think I might try some of those and just see what that does. So I know that encourages, again, the muscles to have a little bit more water in them as well. So again, I'm not overly concerned about the actual number on the weight, as long as my body is still reshaping and if I'm going down belt sizes and my shirts are fitting better and that sort of thing, then I'm totally happy with that. I don't care. In fact, I want to reconfigure and reshape my body. So that's kind of what I'm up for. And yeah. So anyway, this has been a super, super long video. If you have made it this far, thank you very much. Please continue to follow the channel. I've had some really interesting feedback on the perimenopause stuff, so I will probably be doing some interviews around that. So also in February, I'm about to do my hair test for my metabolic typing, and then we'll get Susie back in once we get the results from that. I haven't done it yet because they need quite a lot of hair in a hair sample, so I'm going to have to sort that out because I really don't want to cut my hair off, but I'll figure that out anyway, but that will happen in February. So yeah, again, sorry. If you've made it this far, thanks a lot. I love you for it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you know anybody else that you think might be interested, please share the videos with them and help me try and get my subscriber count up. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.